Okay, y'all, there is something serious that I need to get off my chest, and I need you to just let me cook for a second. Okay. If one more perfectly lovely human looks at a color coded spice rack and says, "Oh my God, I'm so OCD," I'm going to lay down on the floor forever. Here's the thing, lovelies, liking a tidy home does not make you OCD. Lining up pens does not make you OCD. Being annoyed when a picture frame is crooked, that's just good sense. That just makes you a person with preferences. It's part of your personality. OCD is a whole other animal, and I should know because I have actually been diagnosed with it. So today, we're just going to talk about what it really is and what it really isn't, and why I do a tiny internal cringe every single time someone claims it like it's a fun little quirk. No one claims to have any other sometimes life-altering or debilitating disorder because they think it's cute or funny or so crazy. Respectfully. Welcome or welcome back, lovelies. It's Noelle off the clock. And if you're new here, join the club. It's a new channel. Everyone's new here. But this is really where I talk about all the stuff that's on my mind, mostly geared toward men and women of a certain age, 23. But today's stuff is for everybody, honey. Today's stuff is OCD, the real thing. So let's start with a sentence that sends me every time. You've heard it. You've probably said it. No judgment, but I'm about to fix you. I'm so OCD about my desk. She is totally OCD about her closet. It's organized by color. I can't help it. I'm just OCD. I like all my labels facing a certain way. And here's what's happening when you say that. You're using the name of a real, documented, sometimes deeply disabling disorder as a fancy word for particular. You're taking something that for a lot of us involves genuine suffering, and you're using it to describe the fact that you alphabetize your bookshelf. And I get it. It's become shorthand. Culture did this. I don't blame you. We turned a clinical term into a personality quirk. It's the same way people say, "Oh my God, that gave me PTSD," when something was mildly annoying. It's casual and it feels harmless. But let me tell you what it actually communicates to someone who has these disorders. It tells me that you think OCD is about being neat. Not one little assumption is a whole misunderstanding in a nutshell. OCD has almost nothing to do with neatness. And before even I understood that, I thought I was just a control freak. OCD is not being clean or organized or tidy. Tidiness is sometimes a coincidence. It can be a byproduct. It is not the diagnosis. So let's do the educational part because I promised you we'd learn. And I am nothing if not a woman who delivers on her promises. Okay. OCD stands for obsessive compulsive disorder. And the name is honestly doing a lot of heavy lifting that nobody really reads closely into. So I'm going to break it down into its two pieces. The first is obsession. Not like I'm so obsessed with going to the gym, but in OCD terms, an obsession is an intrusive, unwanted thought, image, or urge that shows up uninvited and it makes you really, really anxious. It just barges in. It's the mother in law from hell and it latches on and it won't let go. I call it my sticky brain. Second is the compulsion. A compulsion is the thing that you do to make the anxiety go away. It can be a behavior like checking or washing or counting or arranging, or it can be something completely invisible that happens inside your head. It could be repeating a phrase or praying a certain way or mentally reviewing something over and over again. And usually, along with that comes seeking reassurance. Here is the whole engine of the thing. The compulsion works for about 5 minutes, but it works. And you get this little hit of relief. And then your brain goes, oh, Oh, that's how we make the scary feeling stop. And then it files it away. And the next time the obsession shows up, the demand is louder. So you do this compulsion again. And then the loop tightens and tightens. That's the cycle. It is exhausting and it's sneaky and it can eat up hours of your day and your mental capacity and your energy. So when you imagine OCD, I don't want you to picture a sparkling clean kitchen, although mine is. I want you to picture a brain that's stuck on a loop that nobody asked for and is doing rituals it doesn't want to do just to get 5 minutes of quiet. And here's the part that really opened my eyes, and I think it might surprise some of you too. The cleaning and contamination version of OCD is real. That actually it's a form of OCD. It exists, but it's only one flavor in a very large ice cream shop. OCD shows up in a bunch of different things, and most of them have nothing to do with cleaning. But there is the just right theme where things have to feel a certain way, or you have to do something until it feels complete. There's checking, where you can't trust that you lock the door or turn off the iron or turn off the stove. So you go back and back and back and you double check. There's harm OCD. Harm OCD is where your brain feeds you horrifying thoughts or images about hurting someone or someone that you love getting hurt, or thoughts that disgust you, which is exactly why they stick. And then there's scrupulosity, which is OCD that latches onto religion or morality. So when you're convinced you're a bad person and that you've sinned and that you can't stop, you just keep confessing and you just keep praying. And then there's relationship OCD and health OCD and a whole list that nobody has time for. And the part that sucks is that a huge amount of this is completely invisible from the outside. So some of us are just running marathons inside our own heads while looking totally calm, on a Zoom call. So, if your entire mental image of OCD is somebody scrubbing a counter, you've been looking at a very tiny corner of a very big, loud, and scary room. Okay. So now you know what it really is. So let me tell you why it gets under my skin when people claim it casually. And I want to be fair here because I I know that nobody's being malicious. You're not bad people for saying it. You just don't know. So I'm going to hand you the why. When you say I'm so OCD because your sticky notes are crooked, you are teaching people within earshot that OCD is no big deal. That it's cute and it's manageable with a label maker. And when someone like me says, "Hey, I actually have OCD," the picture already in your head is the spice rack, not the loop, not the lost hours, not the exhaustion, the spice rack. So now I'm in this weird spot where my real thing sounds dramatic next to your fun thing. And then I either over explain myself or I just let it go. And I feel a little unseen. And neither of those are great. And here's the part that I genuinely find strange. OCD has somehow become one of the most claimed conditions. People volunteer it proudly, even. Oh, I'm so OCD. Nobody walks around saying I'm so generalized anxiety disorder. But OCD, people reach for it. I think it's because the tidy stereotype made it feel most flattering. Like it secretly means you're detail oriented or you're high functioning and you're just a little bit extra, but in a charming way. And meanwhile, the folks actually living with it, well, we're hiding it because the real version is not charming and it's not a flex. It's a lot. And the gap between how it's claimed and how it's lived, it's ginormous. And that's the part that gets me. When I was first getting to know my partner, I remember we were walking up this hill in San Francisco, and I told her, "I've been diagnosed with OCD. I have OCD." And she, just like everybody else, kind of laughed it off as, "Oh, she's a perfectionist. She likes a tidy home." And then about a month in, when she really saw how it's being impacted, she was like, "Oh, you have OCD. I've never known anyone who has OCD." Exactly. the perfectionism that comes along with OCD, the checking, the ruminating. Listen, it may have gotten me to a director level role in my career and it drives me, but it is exhausting. So, this is one of the reasons why I just want to draw a little awareness when it comes to what this is and what it is for people. And it is different for everyone. But I'll be honest with you, living with this means there are days where my brain hands me this thought that I would never choose. And then it demands that I do something to make it better, to quiet it down. And the logical part of me knows that it doesn't make sense and that this is just going to be a vicious cycle. And that's kind of the cruelest joke of OCD. You usually know, the door is locked. You know the thought isn't true, but knowing doesn't stop it. It doesn't turn it off. And for the longest time, I didn't have language for it because I thought the same myth as everyone else. I just thought the OCD meant that you were particularly tidy. And my brain was not doing tidy. So I figured I was anxious or intense or a lot. And finding out what it actually was felt like someone finally turning on a light for me. And I had been bumping around this room for years. And the relief of naming it correctly is exactly why I get protective when the name gets watered down, because the right word saved me. So if you take nothing else from today, take this. The good news is OCD is treatable. There is a specific kind of therapy designed for it, and a lot of people get their life back. I'm still working on it, and I will continue to work on it. But if this seems to be resonating with you or landing a little too close to home for you, talk to a professional who actually knows OCD. Not all therapists do. You don't have to white knuckle it. And I want to end on something useful because I'm not here to shame anyone about using an everyday expression. I just want you to walk away with more knowledge. So here's your little Noelle starter pack for not being weird about OCD. Okay. Number one, if you like things neat, just say that. I like my space organized. I'm really particular about my desk. Those are great sentences and they're accurate. You should use those with pride because that is a great thing. That's a great quality to have. Number two, if someone tells you they have OCD, don't immediately go, "Oh yeah, me too. I love my fridge clean." No, listen, and you can simply ask them, "Do you really have OCD?" And if they say yes, "Well, thanks for telling me. Thanks for telling me. Let it be a real thing." And then three, just drop the idea that OCD is about being tidy or particular or a perfectionist. And then 4, just have a little grace for them and for yourself, because most people who say, "I'm so OCD," they genuinely don't know. But, I mean, now you know. So, you get to be the person who knows better. And that's the small kindness that you can hand out for free. And it really is a kindness when people listen. Y'all are so educated now, look at you. But before I go today, if today made you think of someone, or if you're the someone, here's a little reading list for the people who love somebody with OCD. The book I'd start with is When a Family Member Has OCD by John Hirschfeld. It's short, it's kind, and it tells you what actually helps versus what feels like it might be helpful because they're very different. And then there's also Loving Someone with OCD, which is written specifically for partners and family. This is one that my partner read and said it was very helpful. And if you really wanna get it in your bones, Abby Sher's memoir, Amen, 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 is honest and funny and human. And if you wanna come hang out with me again, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when another gap session pops up. All right, y'all. This is my time. I am clocking out. Peace.